Have you ever felt like your aim on some days can be snappy, accurate, and smooth, but on other days feel like the complete polar opposite? As if your mouse felt 3 times heavier than it was, even while using the same sense. Your movement became sluggish, and it feels as if there is a lag between what you want to do and your hands actually performing the action. Although this is not a popular subject, I wanted to make this video because inconsistency in performance is something we all go through, whether we realize it or not, and it is easily overlooked. Now, I've covered topics before in another video, such as this one right here, where I go over the effects of mental fatigue while gaming, how it can occur, as well as how you can find out what your mental limits are, and use it to your advantage by prolonging your time of peak performance. So in this video, I want to go over the physical side of things, and how neglecting it can detriment your gameplay. Believe it or not, physical fatigue can and will affect performance. You might not be aware of it, or brush it off to the side because it seems like such a tiny aspect to worry about, with mouses being as light as they are these days. In this video, I'm going to explain why it is something you certainly should be concerned with, how it can occur, the negative effects, as well as how you can minimize it to prolong your performance and efficiency while gaming. But before I get started, you guys already know what I'm about to say. If this video helps you out in some way, shape, or form, please drop a like. It's a small button for you, but can make such a positive impact on this channel. Also, if you want more aim training and theory videos, hit the notification button and subscribe. Alright, let's get to it. What many people misunderstand about gaming on MNK is that there is a degree of physicality that requires a minimum level of endurance. This level can vary from person to person, depending on how much they exert physically before gaming, whether it be from a job that requires physical exertion, working out, or simply just having a busy day. In a game like Apex, where the outcome of an engagement is dictated within milliseconds of seeing an opponent and reacting, you can see how the slightest bit of physical fatigue can have a huge impact on the result of an engagement. This is especially true if you're in your late 20s and up. Of course, it's easy to outplay kids with game sense and positioning, but when it comes down to those 1v1s where both players are on even ground, it can be quite hard keeping up with the energy levels, reaction time, and speed of little Timmy after finishing his math homework and snorting a line of G Fuel.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
So the first thing we need to understand are the symptoms of physical fatigue. This can be feeling heavy and sluggish, slouching more than usual, causing your forearm to create depression into the mouse pad, increasing friction and slowing reactivity, the mouse feeling heavier than it normally does, and lastly, and most significantly, always running out of room on the mouse pad. This is because of the lack of mobility from your wrist and forearm, because they are being pressed on the pad rather than lightly resting on it, making the act of readjusting to the neutral position consistently quite difficult. Because rather than snapping back into position, you have to make a conscious effort to drag your forearm back into place. So how exactly do we mitigate or work with our physical fatigue if it cannot be avoided, and keep up with the consistent raising bar of average performance? Our goal is to minimize the time between the brain first registering the target and your hands reacting to its command. While yes, you can mitigate this and supplement it with caffeine, I'll be straightforward and tell you that this is only a temporary fix. And if you end up playing for more than an hour, you'll see a sharp decline physically as well as mentally. Essentially, playing in a haze, holding the W key and relying on slow, unconscious responses from habits formed by repetitive gameplay, rather than conscious decisions that are made in the moment, dictated by present circumstances, and translated instantly to physical actions upon acknowledging the target, aka your peak performance. However, if an hour is just about all the time you have to play, I don't see the problem with taking caffeine as a long-term solution. Just a side note though, if you do decide to have more caffeine after the hour, there will be a point where you will receive diminishing returns, and the caffeine will not be as potent as it once was. Now, what if you had a day off where you generally play a couple hours a night, and a temporary fix like caffeine may not be what you're looking for? In my experience as a veteran low sensitivity player, I started to realize that on days I went to the gym and did heavy compound lifts, especially ones that focused on my upper body, my performance started to tank, and my movement as well as my reaction time became incredibly slow. It felt as if I was dragging my forearm when tracking and acquiring targets, rather than the smooth glides that I'm used to. The once light 60-gram mouse felt like it was over 100 grams anytime I needed to make a fast reaction. What I came to find out was that these are all symptoms of physical fatigue. So I needed to find a way to work with and adapt to the endurance I had left after a physically demanding day. And I did this by minimizing the physical exertion of each gaming session by increasing sensitivity. to shorten the distance on the mouse pad needed in order to move the reticle from one location to another. When increasing the sensitivity and shortening that distance by even just a little, this tiny adjustment prolonged my peak performance on physically demanding days by an average of 45 minutes, allowing me to finally regain that level of consistency I had previously, before I started going to the gym on a consistent basis. Now, as always, I want to give you guys a full disclaimer and let you know that this process was done over a 3-month period, by slowly raising my sense by 0.2 relative to my DPI, which is 400 at 4000 Hz. Please adjust these increments to match yours. I proceeded to stay on each sensitivity change for at least a week to ensure that what I was experiencing was not just placebo, until I came to a point where I did not feel any of the symptoms of fatigue on physically demanding days, and then maintain that sensitivity even on days I wasn't working out, for the goal of consistency. Now, it is not just simply raising your sense that will fix your consistency problems. There is a caveat. You will also need to have a higher degree of mouse control that comes with an increased sensitivity. And yes, you can most certainly acquire that from just playing the game. However, if you want to expedite this process, utilizing the voltaic fundamental routines on either Kovacs or AIM Labs will quickly solidify your transition. Now, if you are comfortable on the sensitivity that you are at, and don't want to increase it, there is another option that I would highly recommend, and that is an arm sleeve. The sleeve will ensure that your forearm does not produce as much friction on the mousepad, allowing you to glide across it, removing most of the friction. Being the complete dork that I am, I personally am using an arm sleeve from SkyPad, which I've linked in the description. Yes, it is an affiliate link. By clicking on the link, anything that you purchase from Amazon, a very, very, very small percentage of that will go to supporting this channel. If not, that's cool too. You can simply search it on Amazon's website by typing in SkyPad arm sleeve. Honestly though, any other sleeve will do. I hear Pulsar has a fantastic one as well. If you don't want to spend any money or want it ultra cheap, you can either go to Five Below, they sell arm sleeves there for like $5, I have one right here, or find an old compression long sleeve shirt, cut off the forearm portion of it, and boom, you got an arm sleeve. Now, one last thing I want to mention. If your sensitivity is already high and you are experiencing consistency issues, it may not be physical, but rather a problem with your mental endurance, which you can learn more about and increase by again checking out this video. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Every view is appreciated, and if it helped you in some way, shape, or form, please drop a like. It's a small button for you, but it means the world to me and will allow me to one day fully dedicate myself to pumping out content like this. That being said, subscribe and ring the notification bell if you're interested in more aim training and theory videos. Peace.